What is true knockout power in boxing, MMA, or street fighting? Really, it involves two factors: intensity, which is a type of power I can only teach in person by really getting you to focus on strength and power and effort and explosion. And two, precision. If your motions are in the wrong place, if your fist isn't where it should be, if it's not turned over properly, if it's too far here, too far there, not right where it should be, you're going to be losing power. So precision and intensity, combining these two factors. The mechanics and science of a knockout punch is extremely complex, and there is no one right answer. There's guys like Mike Tyson who chomp down on it and flex as hard as they can. And there's fighters like Nick Diaz, Muhammad Ali, who really barely even touch you and are able to really dust you off just with speed. So I wanted to examine kind of the universal principles across street fighting, bare knuckle fighting, MMA, Muay Thai, boxing. What's going to work on the street as well as in the ring? And first and foremost, what we have to do is we have to take away that perfect boxing stance. Because if you try sparring or fighting somebody who is an MMA fighter or a kickboxer, you're just going to get kicked too hard. So got to bring that rear shoulder forward, bring the hands up a little bit into this turtle guard where we start to really get the essence of power punching, which is everything but the jab, the crosses, the uppercuts, and the hooks. But if you can incorporate all that power into a stiff jab out of this turtle guard, use that to set up the other power punches, then we can really develop a skilled, intelligent fight science where we're dishing out punishment, where we can be inside the pocket, where we can even be causing pressure or fighting backward effectively and not taking damage. That's the key aspect of it, no matter what style you have, whether it's going forward like Nick Diaz and Mike Tyson, or if it's more kind of Anderson Silva, Muhammad Ali, moving back like Floyd Mayweather and setting traps. The most important thing I said is, besides intensity, which might even be the easier part to teach depending on what your deficiencies are, is precision. Exactly how much do your shoulders twist? A lot of people over-rotate. A lot of people under-rotate. A lot of people don't really snap through the punch and kind of push it. That's not what we're doing. Karate is pushing the punch. Boxing is a rock on the end of a string. Completely different feeling. More of a loose feeling. Loose, 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 open. At the very end, everything tightens and flexes up. They actually did a muscular study on a championship Olympic boxer, and they put electrodes, and she had tons of knockouts. She wasn't a boxer, she was a puncher, stylistically. They put electrodes all over her body, and they found out that where the knockout came from, the place where the muscles were most activated on her left hook, where she had the most knockouts, was actually in the opposite corner. And if you talk to an internal martial arts master or somebody who has dozens of knockouts in boxing, pro boxers who've really had dozens and dozens of fights, they all talk about kind of where you feel it, this internal core feeling of proprioception, ambulation, dexterity, coordination, where you're actually feeling the body as one unit and feeling the power. So very key core principles. You find them in all martial arts, these principles of power. And like I said, this universal fighting style out of this turtle guard, this power stiff jab, setting up these uppercuts of both sides, as well as the hooks, and of course the lovely overhand punches. So quick talk about power in boxing and martial arts. So much of it is technique, so much of it is pushing off the feet, rotating, precision of motion. This is why Floyd Mayweather Jr. is so much better than everyone else, because he pulls his front shoulder back when he throws a rear cross, as opposed to using the active shoulder, his lead shoulder, for his lead hand. He pulls the opposite shoulder back. He talks about this, how he turns his body into kind of like a rubber band. And other boxers don't think and feel and experience their coordination and their proprioception and their dexterity and their agility and their movement this way, which is what makes Barry Bonds Jr., Floyd Mayweather Jr., some athletes just so much better than others. Coordination and precision. So big up to those guys who I mentioned, and really work slowly so that you know that all of your muscles are being activated. So when you do this in fast motion, it's all coming from the rear toe, stomping out a cigarette. You're feeling the rear glute and the rear hamstring as much as you're feeling this bicep, as much as you're feeling this hand. And when you can really get into that core feeling where your whole body is one unit, then we can talk about knockout power, then we can talk about structure as opposed to muscular force and effort. And that's really the key to power.